Hey all, it's Dan, back with another video. This one about Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who supports defunding the police demands in wake of George Floyd's death. So she threw her weight behind a growing movement to defund police departments that has become a rallying cry for some protesters in the wake of George Floyd's death. The progressive firebrand put her stamp of approval on the far left demand as a policy solution to combat police brutality and racial injustice during a congressional primary debate that aired Friday night on NY1 or New York 1. Ocasio Cortez says she's actively engaged in advocacy for a reduction in our NYPD budget and defunding a $6 billion NYPD budget. Wow, $6 billion. That costs us books in the hands of our children and costs us very badly needed investment in NYCHA, New York City housing. So, activists and liberal New York City Council members are calling for New York to slash at least $1 billion from NYPD's $6 billion budget. Like, that is not a radical demand, really. $1 billion. I mean, I would go further than that. We don't need the police at all. Let's look at NY1 before we get started in this. I know NY is 39. NY1 40. It's interesting because 40 in the Jewish cipher, the N word equals 40. Jewish reduction. So NY1, police brutality. Who is most police brutality directed at? You know? So let's look at the numbers behind this. I'm fully in favor of defunding the police. Of course, they're never going to go far enough. They're never going to do it. They're just going to put more police on the streets. That's what usually happens. So she was born on October 13th. She's 30 years old. What do we know about that number? From the Bronx, right? 30, that number associated with the N word. 30. And she's 30 years old, from the Bronx. The Bronx, New York. 71, like African American. So let's check out why she's in this story. From her last birthday, so this happened on the 238th day of her age, from her last birthday. So on her 30th birthday, the 238th day of her age of 30, and her name equals 238. Notice that Alexandria equals 89. She was born in 89. Her name also equals 131. And notice she was born with 131 numerology. 131, a prime number, the 32nd prime. This happened on a day with 32 numerology. She was born with 32 numerology as well. Also talking about mostly the people that are affected by this are Negroes, Negro 32 as well. And look at Defund the Police and Number of the Beast. That song by KRS-One, Sound of the Police. Defund the Police 147, Number of the Beast 174, reflection thereof. Defund the Police 75, 258, right? And this happened on June 6th, or 6/6, 66. She says she's actively engaged in advocacy for, equals 147. Kind of like defund the police. Also a number of Freemason. Freemason 147. Right. So just another story by the numbers featuring AOC, that actor, you know, from The Squad. Black Lives Matter. What is NYPD? NYPD equals 59, like Negro, right? Negro and NYPD. 32, the reflection of 23. So just another story by the numbers. This is from Fox. Let's look at the whole headline, just for fun. That equals 270, like 27, like ritual. Just another ritual. Notice how they call her AOC. This happened on 6/6, right? The 158th day of the year, like Freemasonry. Call her AOC. AOC 19, like chaos. Right, the year of chaos. 62 like Mason, 17 like Mason. And then there's something called Francis Bacon, which takes into account capital letters. AOC 97 like death. So what Francis Bacon is you add 26 to each letter. So A would be 27 instead of 26, O would be 41 instead of 15, and C would be 29 instead of 3. Add 26 to each letter, each capitalized letter, to get 97. So there you go. Combat police brutality. This would be a way to combat police brutality, this whole thing. I'm definitely in favor of this. They're just not going far enough for me. You know, 89, like Alexandria, like she was born in 89. 325, the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, also 127. Scottish Rite. They're running the show, especially the police. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry with 1 Y, 127 and 325. Let's get rid of Jewish here, even though Jewish says 137. That's interesting. Francis Bacon. And then the other thing they were talking about was racial injustice. Far left demand. They make it sound so awful, right? And all they're asking for is $1 billion. Racial injustice, 154, like ritual murder. Racial injustice is ritual murder, right? Ritual sacrifice. Every time there's racial injustice, it's a ritual sacrifice. I mean, look at that. Huh. That's crazy. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to make that bigger. I'm going to make it much bigger. Look at that. Racial injustice and ritual sacrifice. Both 154, both 73, both 251, both 107. Gotta love gematria. It makes you see through the lies. Let's look at the far left demand. This news story is from Fox. Far left demand. 71 like African American, like police brutality. Far left demand. 55 like God, like Satan. 19, 109 like 19 like Satan. Also AOC was 19. Right? AOC 19. And 17, the reflection of 71. Far left. Hilarious. It's become a rallying cry. Let's defund the police. I like it. Let's defund them entirely. Why do we need police? Rallying cry. These are numbers of the Jesuits. Jesuit order. Basically running things. 144. 63. Right? And 153. Pretty good match. Rallying cry and Jesuit order. Certainly what's going on here. There's a rallying cry. So that'll do it. Another story by the numbers. Depends on how deeply you want to go. You could look into a lot of this stuff. You know, demands. What is demands? Demands 33. Just like New York, 33. Also 60. 33 and 39 like New York. 60 like the N-word. And 42, the reflection of 24. Demands. So there you go. More news by the numbers. To go on and on with this. But I did want to point out New York is 33 and 39. So there he goes. Thanks so much. Have a great day, everybody. Take care.